Hey, I'm Riggers, thanks for dropping in. I wanted to make a video today to talk about this game right here, Wreckreation by Three Fields Entertainment, which is made up of some former developers for Criterion games who are best known for the Burnout games. There's all these here. Now, this game, Wreckreation, the newest one, is not their first game since they formed their own studio, since some of the former developers have formed their own studio. Three Fields Entertainment has been around over 10 years and they have developed a golf destruction game and a series of other racing but this one was kind of vaporware for a few years. I noticed it on retailers and available to pre-order, but it never seemed to have a release date. It was always just the 31st of December of each given year. The game was never really promoted very well. I'd always heard very little about it, and the idea and the concept of it really excited me for the creative angle, but also because I love racing games. It's my favourite genre of game, and I love arcade racing games, and it's made by the people who worked on the Burnout games, so all that is really exciting and appealing to me. So when it out of nowhere seemingly an actual release date was solidified and announced, I pre-ordered it a month in advance. I got my copy a day late from the retailer I got it from, but nonetheless when it did arrive I was very pleased and I dove straight into it. Now, for those not in the know, because I'm going to be very honest, well I think we can all be very honest, most of you watching this have no idea what the game is, I imagine, if you just stumbled across this video, or most people on this channel who are already around. It's not exactly a very well promoted, well publicised game. It's not a game people are talking about, it's not. And this one is published by THQ Nordic as well, who also does the Wreckfest games, of the first one, and I assume the upcoming second one as well, developed by Bugbear of Flat Out fame. So it's got a reputable publisher behind it, and I believe their previous games were all self-published for Three Fields Entertainment. From my research and going through what people feel about the company and the history of their games, I've only ever played of Three Fields Entertainment's games Dangerous Golf before. I got it around about the time it came out for nothing. It's like 80p. It was fun, it was interesting. I dropped it for many years, but then I picked it up again not long ago on my Steam Deck, and it runs a lot better on my Steam Deck than it does my computer. It's not the most well optimised game, but it's fun, and I think, in all honesty, I think Three Fields Entertainment at their core, they have ambitious and fun gameplay concepts. It's the execution, with them being a much smaller studio. It's the budget that's not there and the execution that isn't quite nailed. Essentially, the heart of what I'm trying to get to in this video is, this is a game that I like. It's fun. I'd say it is good, but it could be significantly better. And right now, the developers have handed out a redundancy notice, and they might have to lay off some, if not maybe the whole workforce, because the game apparently has been dropped by the publisher, hasn't really sold very well, it hasn't reviewed too well, for some reasons which I think are fair, some I think are a bit exaggerated. And so I just want to have a talk about my experience with the game today. So what is Wreckreation? It is a open world arcadey racing game where you can smash and crash a race to victory. There's point A to point B races, there's off-road races, time trials, road rage events, smashing into other cars. There's a variety of different events. There's a humongous, way too big to be honest, map. And the creative aspect, hence the name Creation, part of the name, you can make your own racetracks with these things called sky tracks, and you can just put like tracks that have like scaffolding or even completely float all around the map. You can change the name of the map, you can rename the roads, there's about 15 radio stations, you can customise the weather, the amount of traffic, so it's got that customisable aspect to it in small ways and bigger ways. So you can really have your own flow on the game, you can tweak things to your preference, which is cool. Things like the weather and the traffic, that's a cool thing to have. So the game really feels like, and it sells itself to you, this is your playground. The actual track creation bit was, it has the potential, but I did get bored of it after trying to and struggling to make even one track, because, and this is a problem I had with Fallout 4 as well with its creation aspect, things don't clip together properly. So in Fallout 4, a problem I would have is you have certain material presets and you try to clip them together but then they just don't work. Basically it was all a mess, and a similar thing with this. I was trying to connect things and they'd be all completely the wrong level or they just wouldn't connect properly, and I'll mention this for transparency, but I don't think it's reflective of the game where it's at now in terms of its current update and patch level. A few days after the game came out, I did face a couple of crashes when trying to create tracks, and placing certain pieces down would just completely crash out the game. I've not edited or tried to build any tracks since then, so I can't speak for if that's still happening, but that was several in-game versions ago, so take that with a grain of salt. That's something that did happen, but I don't know if it happens now. So the creation aspect in terms of developing tracks was a bit underwhelming, well, very underwhelming. I didn't really get into it, I didn't even bother making a race. My main gripe with the game is probably the audio quality. It is, to be blunt, fucking awful. Really badly compressed audio that makes the audio compression of the PlayStation 2 era sound like bloody high-res lossless audio. It's Christ. It's PlayStation 1 audio that's crisp, but it's awful. Just terrible. Don't have anything else to say other than that. It is awful. The AI, sometimes I've noticed it could glitch. So the game has really bad rubber banding. 100%. The AI is not fair. You can crash out the AI and then they'll be instantly right behind you and then they crash you out. And when they respawn they're going full speed, but they crash you out and then you respawn miles behind, back from 0 miles per hour again, which is not fair at all. So ridiculous rubber banding that makes races difficult, unfair AI that can get an advantage over you when they crash out and can instantly respawn at full speed, shit audio, underbaked and not very satisfying creative aspects. Sounds like it's all negative, but this is a game I did play to completion, not 100% completion, but I played till works in some way to Burnout Paradise, which is the next gripe slash positive I want to get onto next. Wreckreation is basically Burnout Paradise 2, right? The whole aesthetic of this game, the user interface, the progression system, the style of the narrator, how you unlock new cars by taking them down across the map and smashing instants to unlock them, pretty much every core, even leaving the screen on idle and then it goes black and white and slowly goes down the tracks playing classical music as like a screensaver, even that is carbon copied into Wreckreation. Wreckreation has basically no identity of its own for all intents and purposes, other than legal reasons that it obviously can't be called that. This is basically Burnout Paradise 2, or Burnout Paradise : in the country, because the whole game is basically set in the countryside. Now, that could be a good thing if it was Burnout Paradise 2, but this is meant to be a fresh intellectual property, and it's basically just self-plagiarism to the point of not having an identity of its own. The familiarity is nice, it's pleasant, it's like, oh, more of this, more of that, and you can smile and be thinking, oh, this is cool to have this again, but at the same time, it's just self-plagiarism. And there's nothing original about that. It's not offering anything new. No, I don't hate the game, I know it's had a barrage of negativity there. I enjoyed the driving, I enjoyed the events and the races, I enjoyed exploring the map, I enjoyed all the radio music when I wasn't grimacing and gritting my teeth from the bad compression of the audio. I enjoyed the variety of gameplay and the different vehicles, and just I play a racing game to race, and I enjoyed the races. Again, when the AI wasn't irritating me with its ridiculous road banding and unfair advantages. So again, I suppose I am sounding large and negative, but I did genuinely have a great time with this game, and I enjoyed playing through all the races. The road rages were fun. When I first was trying to play the game, before like pretty much any of the patches had come out, pretty much every road rage only had a time limit of 30 seconds, which was unrealistic, so I ignored them for ages. But then they seem to have patched it and fixed them all, so none of the road rages pretty much lasted only 30 seconds anymore, and they all had proper time limits. It's basically countryside Burnout Paradise, so if you like that base gameplay loop and that gameplay but want a different map and different vehicles to unlock and different in-game music and more modern graphics, of all the actual issues with the game, it could be the AI could be improved, the map could be a bit more interesting, the audio needs to be completely redone, the creation aspect could be more fleshed out, and they have updates that they'd like to put out, and there's things they've teased, such as adding a train to the map, further expanding the creation aspects, adding more vehicles to the game like forklift trucks and minivans. So there's a lot of ideas the developers have. Whether they get to put them out there, I don't know. But I think as a racing game and as a racing title, from the history and the background the developers come from, I think it's a good successor. It's not the best thing in the world, but for the budget and scope and the amount of developers that have worked on it, I think it's a just above average but fun racing game. I certainly got my money's worth. It only cost me like 25-30 quid, and it's something I would replay and play again. Go back towards the PlayStation 1, 2, early mid PlayStation 3 era, there's loads of racing games, so many racing games there, but the majority of them are just average to good. Not every game is going to be 9 or 10 out of 10, the most phenomenal racing experience ever. There's a lot of middling or average, like comfortably average, not crappy, not shovelware, just like, this is an enjoyably average racing game. There's loads of them like that. Games that are just short but sweet experiences. I've got an obscure one up there called Room Zoom, with you play, but there's only like 12 cars in the game. It only lasts a couple hours, and you just play around different rooms in a house, like kind of like Micro Machines, but played from a normal racing perspective, like third person above camera, and you're just zooming around a house with some arcadey power-ups, and it's just a game that only has a few hours worth of gameplay really, but it's a fun, decent game. You know, Star Wars Race Revenge lasts a couple hours, but that's pretty decent. There's loads of smaller experiences or things that aren't like blowing around amazing, but the fun. It doesn't have to be the most high polished, high budget, out of 200 developers AAA thing ever. Has this game buckled under the pressure of its own over-ambition? Yes, absolutely. Could it have been a lot better if it had a smaller scope and a much smaller map, and someone hadn't fucked up the audio so badly? Yes, it would have been. Is the game horrifically unplayable, some glitchy, bug-filled mess with graphics that make your eyes want to bleed and car handling that isn't remotely functional? No, that's just internet trolls spreading the baseless propaganda as per, which is a sad thing that seems to spread to pretty much every form of medium possible. Everything's unreadable, unwatchable, unlistenable, unplayable according to everyone else, isn't it? All I do is invite you to do your own research and give the game a try if it's the sort of game you might be interested in. I invite you to just give it a try and see for yourself what it's like, and form your own opinions. I've tried to be as honest about it as I can. I think it's a fun game, it's enjoyable to play, but like I said, it's got all those issues, so it can be better, but it's a good start. Whether there ends up being a Wreckreation 2 or follow-up, or Three Fields folds and someone else ends up doing something similar in the future, there aren't many arcade racing games, there aren't many in general of any form of racing, there aren't as many racing franchises anymore. So it's good to try and support them and just explore them and see what they're like and try and enjoy them for what they're for. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Wreckreation. Let me know what you think of this video. I appreciate you watching, and let me know if you've tried the game, what your thoughts are. If you have any questions about the game, I'll try and answer them based on my experience. And I hope you're all having a good December. I'll see you in another video soon, hopefully. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.